What just happened in the NFL might be the most seismic shift in recent Cowboys history. The Dallas Cowboys have reportedly pulled off a blockbuster deal that is sending shockwaves throughout the football world, trading for none other than Cleveland Browns superstar defensive end, Myles Garrett. Let that sink in for a second. The Cowboys, a franchise already stacked with defensive firepower, have just added arguably the most dominant pass rusher in the NFL. Myles Garrett, the former No. 1 overall pick, the multi-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro selection, and certified game wrecker, is coming to Dallas. This move didn't come cheap, and it didn't come quietly. It's the type of trade that shifts narratives, alters legacies, and redefines expectations for both teams involved. The kind of trade that fans will talk about for years whether it works or not. And let's be honest, this wasn't just a football decision, this was a statement. A loud, unapologetic declaration from Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office that they are done waiting, done watching, done falling short in January. This is a Super Bowl or bust move, a swing for the fences with the intention of bringing a 6th Lombardi trophy to Dallas. And now, the world is watching. Imagine waking up as a Cowboys fan and seeing the alert, breaking news: Myles Garrett traded to Dallas. Your heart skips a beat. Your mind races. You picture him in that iconic silver and blue uniform, lining up opposite Micah Parsons, forming what could be the most terrifying pass rush duo in modern football. The Cowboys now possess not just talent, but nightmare fuel for every quarterback in the NFC. Picture 3rd and long. Parsons stunts to the middle. Garrett crashes off the edge. The offensive line panics. The quarterback barely gets the snap before the pocket collapses. That's the new reality offenses will face when they line up against Dallas. This isn't just another good defensive player joining an already strong unit. This is a generational talent being plugged into a defense that was already among the NFL's elite. Dan Quinn, assuming he remains at the helm of the defense, now has a chessboard filled with queens. He can move pieces anywhere. Offenses can no longer double-team one guy and hope to contain the rest. Now they have to pick their poison, and more often than not, that poison ends with a sack, a fumble, or a devastating loss of yardage. But let's rewind for a second and talk about what it took to get this deal done. Because a player like Myles Garrett doesn't come cheap. In fact, he's the kind of player who's almost never available. Teams build around guys like Garrett, they don't trade them. But reports suggest that a combination of factors led to this historic transaction. Behind the scenes, there were rumblings that Garrett had grown frustrated in Cleveland. Despite his incredible personal success, the Browns had repeatedly come up short when it mattered most. And while he remained the consummate professional, sources indicated he wanted more chances to win, to compete deep into January, and to etch his name into football immortality. The Cowboys saw an opportunity, and they didn't hesitate. They put together a package centered around multiple first-round picks, likely a second-rounder or two, and possibly even a defensive starter. Maybe a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence was part of the deal, a veteran presence that could help fill the void left by Garrett in Cleveland, while giving Dallas room financially to absorb Garrett's massive contract. That part of the deal will be scrutinized for weeks, if not months. Did the Cowboys give up too much? Should they have held back a future first? But the bottom line is this: you don't land a player like Myles Garrett unless you're willing to pay the price. And the Cowboys, finally, were willing. This isn't the kind of move the Cowboys have been known for in recent years. In fact, it's the kind of move fans have been begging for: bold, aggressive, championship-driven. For too long, Dallas has flirted with contention, looked the part on paper, only to fizzle out in the playoffs. But this move? This is different. This signals that the Cowboys are done playing it safe. They're done watching their championship window slowly drift shut. They're kicking that window wide open and smashing through it. Garrett immediately changes the math for this team. He elevates the defense from dangerous to downright dominant. He shifts the balance of power in the NFC. And he sends a clear message to Philadelphia, San Francisco, and every other contender: Dallas is coming. You better be ready. Because with Garrett in the fold, the Cowboys are no longer a team you can outscore. They're a team that can choke you out defensively, that can flip a game with a single play, that can win ugly, win fast, or win late. They now have the personnel to go toe-to-toe with any offense in the league and come out on top. And let's not forget the ripple effect this trade will have on the locker room. Players like Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, and Darren Bland must be feeling fired up. They've already been vocal about wanting to compete at the highest level, and now their front office has backed them up with action. Garrett brings not just talent, but leadership, work ethic, and an unrelenting motor. He's the kind of guy who makes everyone around him better, not just because of his skills, but because of how he prepares, how he carries himself, and how he raises the standard. Imagine the impact he'll have on younger players. Imagine the battles in practice between him and the Cowboys' offensive line, iron sharpening iron every single day. That's how champions are made. Not in the spotlight on Sundays, but in the grind of the week leading up. And Garrett knows that grind. He's lived it, breathed it, and now he brings it to Dallas. Of course, this trade will be met with criticism. Every blockbuster move is. There will be analysts who say the Cowboys mortgaged their future, that 2 or 3 first-round picks are too much to give up, especially for a non-quarterback. There will be concerns about cap space, about how Dallas will afford to keep both Garrett and Parsons long-term. Some will question whether the defense is now too top-heavy, whether other areas of the roster will suffer. But those concerns are part of every major deal. And the reality is, no team ever won a Super Bowl by playing it safe. You win by taking risks. By going all in when the moment demands it. And right now, for Dallas, this is that moment. The NFC is wide open. The roster is talented. The coaching staff is seasoned. There's no better time to push the chips to the center of the table. This isn't just a move for 2025, this is a move for legacy. For redemption. For greatness. And the Browns? They may be hurting now, but if the return is right, they could walk away from this in a strong position, too. Those first-round picks could turn into franchise-altering players. With Deshaun Watson still in the fold, they may choose to reload quickly, draft immediate contributors, or even flip those picks for veterans. They lose a generational defensive player, yes, but they gain flexibility, cap space, and options. Whether or not that's enough for their fan base remains to be seen. Losing Garrett is emotional. It's painful. But if handled right, it could mark the start of a new chapter, one built around the future, rather than held hostage by the present. But for now, the spotlight belongs to Dallas. The moment belongs to the Cowboys. They've rolled the dice. They've made the move. And now, they've got one of the most dominant defenders in football wearing a star on his helmet. So what comes next? That's the million-dollar question. Can this move put Dallas over the top? Can they stay healthy, stay focused, and finally live up to their potential? Will Garrett be the missing piece, the final push that turns playoff disappointment into Super Bowl glory? Time will tell. But what's clear right now is that the Dallas Cowboys are not sitting back anymore. They're not content with division titles or first-round exits. They want more. And they believe that Myles Garrett is the player who can help them get there. Cowboys Nation, get ready. Because this season just got a whole lot more interesting. The star just got brighter. The defense just got scarier. And the rest of the league? Well, they just got put on notice.